Sean, I'm going to risk everything and ask you to analyze Elizabeth Buemiller, because you've dealt with Washington reporters on the on the left for a long time. How can these reporters, Elizabeth Buemiller, Peter Baker, how can these reporters go out and say these things? How could it be?
Because they hate him.
I can't say I know where Elizabeth or Peter live, but I would bet that they are up in the Chevy Chase Circle area, if I had to guess.
There's crime up there.
And so that they don't deal with this stuff. They go up to the socials. No. But my point is that it's very different than walking around in the Navy Yard at night where gangs are coming through. Look, I said this the other day. I literally, on the way to a Nats game, probably it's got to be 2.5 months now because it was in the spring. We're going down Independence Avenue in an Uber. A bicycle gang comes around us and just starts going up and down the street both ways. And I said to the driver, "What is this?" Not? He goes, "Yeah, can't do anything." So I asked the head of the DC Police Union on my show last night. He goes, "Yes, we are prohibited from addressing that. We're prohibited. We cannot do it. And if we actually were to corner them and get them, it's a traffic violation, not a crime." He went through all of the issues that exist in DC right now. They decriminalized so many of the things. You've got a prosecutor in the AG there in DC. This is what Jeanine Pirro was talking about, who literally doesn't believe in prosecuting criminals. He doesn't believe philosophically that that's what should happen. So DC decriminalized a lot of stuff. Number one. Number two, listen to of all the interviews that I've had, yesterday was probably one of the most fascinating. On the scene, they are told to downgrade things. So instead of a stabbing, it becomes a person that was injured on the scene. So it's not a violent crime. I mean, the stuff that the officers get told to do. There was a cop yesterday that very publicly got reprimanded, a commander, for rigging the statistics. You've got ABC News, Kira Phillips out there talking about carjacked or another colleague getting mugged. When Elizabeth Buemiller gives on and says that this doesn't exist, that's literally the equivalent of Hunter Biden's laptop is fake news. They continue to do it on issue after issue.
Yes. Well, and what's interesting, Mark, is if you and for people who don't know DC, the New York Times is right near the White House. The Washington Post is just a few blocks, north on K Street now. If you go a block north and east of the Post, I know Washington Post journalists who say they will not walk over to RPM restaurant and other things at night. No. The New York Times, if you go 3 blocks north in an area that used to be one of the most secure in the city, people are nervous at night now. Yes. Just walking to restaurant.
But I'm telling you, it's Northwest Washington too.
I agree. It's up in Chevy Chase.
It's the whole city.
Yep, Spring Valley. I agree.
But for reporters to say this, it's not just bad journalism. It's once again defining the brand in opposition to Donald Trump in counter to the facts.
So one, I think it's reflexive for most of these reporters. But here's the thing that I find funny. So many of the hits against Donald Trump are, he didn't accept this data, he manipulated this data. And then it comes to crime. And it's unequivocal, a fact. You have multiple instances, you have legislative actions that were taken by the DC City Council to undermine the data. And yet they'll go after Donald Trump for manipulating data. And then when the District of Columbia and other cities manipulate their crime stats, they go, crime is falling, everything's great, we feel safe. It is so ridiculous, the length to which they'll go to cover for their own side. Right. So if any of these cities were run by anyone on the Republican side, it would be a very different story.
Right.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip. And you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.